Nothing is random. In Buddhist philosophy, nothing happens by accident. Losses, failures, or sudden upheavals in life often leave us feeling confused, hurt, and unfairly treated. We often ask ourselves, why is this happening to me? But if we look deeper, we will see that every experience carries within it a purpose, a hidden message that life wants to deliver to us. Buddhism teaches that every event, whether small or great, is part of the stream of causes and conditions, where everything arrives at the right time, in the right circumstances, to shape the person we are becoming. When one door closes, it is not merely an ending, but also the opening of another path, sometimes more important and more suitable for us. A failure may push us toward a new direction, a pain may awaken compassion and understanding within us, and a loss may help us recognize the value of what we once had. No event is meaningless, all are bricks laid upon the path of growth and awakening. If we learn to trust in the natural flow of the universe, we will resist less, doubt less, and blame less. Instead of seeing difficulties as enemies, we can view them as teachers. Every upheaval does not come to destroy us, but to bring us closer to understanding, resilience, and ultimately, inner freedom. In life, no one can escape suffering. We have all experienced loss, failure, betrayal, or pains that seemed unbearable. The natural instinct of human beings is to resist, to push away those uncomfortable feelings as quickly as possible. We often wish life would return to how it was, that the sadness would vanish, that everything would become easier. But according to Buddhist philosophy, suffering is neither punishment nor a cruel joke of fate. Suffering is, in truth, a teacher, quietly imparting lessons we could never understand without walking through it. The Buddha once taught, suffering is inevitable, but prolonged suffering is a choice. When we cling to pain, we make it heavier. When we fight against it, we unintentionally give it more strength. But when we pause, observe, and face suffering with mindfulness, we begin to recognize that within it always lies a seed of wisdom. Just as fire refines gold, adversity strips away what is false and clinging, revealing the strongest and truest essence of the soul. Remember, many of life's greatest lessons only appear when we are hurt. A heart that has been broken can truly understand and empathize with the pain of others. A bitter failure may open the door to patience and endurance we never knew we possessed. It is through suffering that we learn to love more deeply, to value the present moment more, and to discover the inner strength to rise again. Therefore, instead of asking, "Why must I endure this?" we may ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" At that point, suffering is no longer an enemy, but a teacher guiding us toward maturity, wisdom, and true freedom. Suffering in life is like a handful of salt. If we drop that salt into a small glass of water, the whole water becomes bitter and undrinkable. But that same handful of salt, when poured into a vast lake, seems to dissolve, leaving the water pure and drinkable. The message of this Buddhist parable is clear: suffering itself does not change, but our experience of it depends on the container, our own mind and perspective. In life, when we focus only on our own pain, it occupies our entire mind, leaving us suffocated, unfairly treated, and lost. But if we learn to broaden our perspective, to see things in a larger picture, we will realize that suffering is only a part of the journey of growth, not the whole of life. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What is this teaching me?" By changing the question, we change our way of approaching the problem, and thus find peace even in adversity. A loss may open an opportunity to appreciate what we still have. A failure may help us discover hidden strengths within ourselves. An event that seems cruel may become the beginning of a new path, wider and more meaningful. It all depends on the eyes with which we choose to see. Broadening perspective does not mean denying the pain or trying to make it disappear. It simply means stepping out of the narrow confines of the ego, to see that every event has its place in the larger picture of life. When we can see farther, pain no longer swallows us whole, but becomes nourishment for wisdom, compassion, and inner strength. In life, most of us long for stability, safety, and comfort. We often think that if everything runs smoothly, without upheaval, we will be happy. Yet the truth is the opposite. It is precisely those moments of chaos, unexpected storms, and crises that seem to tear life apart that are the most powerful catalysts for growth. In Buddhism, there is a profound teaching: without chaos, there is no transformation. Without challenges, we easily sink into the comfort zone, repeating old habits and never discovering our true potential. Look at the process of a seed becoming a tree. If the seed remains on the surface of the soil, exposed to light and without any challenge, it will forever remain a seed. Only when it is buried deep in the dark earth, under pressure from soil and stone, and then sprouts upward through the heavy layer of soil, does it become a strong tree. Likewise, Human beings need struggle and collision to reveal their hidden strength. There is a Buddhist story about a butterfly and its cocoon. A man once saw a butterfly struggling to break free, and out of compassion, he cut open the cocoon to help it. The butterfly emerged, but with weak wings, never able to fly. The man did not know that the very struggle inside the cocoon was what helped the butterfly develop strong wings. Similarly, life's crises force us to struggle, forging endurance, wisdom, and resilience. Instead of fearing chaos, we can learn to embrace it as a necessary turning point. Every event, even painful ones, carries within it an opportunity for us to change, to break old limits, and to be reborn into a stronger, wiser, and freer version of ourselves. In Buddhist philosophy, there is a fundamental concept called Dharma, often understood as the natural law, the invisible yet unchanging order of the universe. It is not a system created by humans, but an inherent principle governing all phenomena. Like the flow of a river, no matter how we struggle, the waters still rush toward the sea. No matter how we resist, the sun still rises and sets in its cycle. Dharma is the breath of the universe, the perfect balance beyond human control. We often suffer because we want everything to go our way. When things go smoothly, we are happy. When adversity comes, we are sad. But the truth is, life never runs by personal desire, it always follows Dharma. One who understands this clings less, resists less, and knows how to move with the flow instead of wasting energy fighting the unchangeable. An ancient saying in scripture states, "The Dharma operates, whether there is a Buddha or no Buddha." This means that the truths of causality, impermanence, and non-self exist regardless of recognition. Like gravity, they do not need belief to be real. Understanding this, we learn to live in greater harmony, planting good seeds to reap sweet fruits, cherishing change, and no longer fearing impermanence. Dharma also reminds us that each person has a place in the universe, a stream of their own to follow. When we live true to our nature, in alignment with these profound laws, we feel serenity and inner freedom. This is not surrender, but wisdom, knowing what needs effort to change, and what needs letting go in order to harmonize with the eternal order of the universe. On each person's journey, crisis is almost unavoidable. There are times when we fall into upheavals that seem impossible to overcome: loss, failure, betrayal, or the collapse of the values we once clung to. In such moments, the mind is covered in darkness, as if the whole world is collapsing. Yet in Buddhist teaching and Eastern philosophy, crisis is not the end, but a doorway to the rebirth of the soul. A seed can only sprout when its hard shell is broken. Likewise, crisis is the breaking of the shell of safety, forcing us to look at ourselves, to confront false beliefs and long-held habits that bound us. Suffering here is like a purifying fire, burning away the false to return us to our true essence. Without great shocks, people often live in inertia, repeating old mistakes and never truly growing. What matters is not avoiding crisis, but how we receive and transform it. By changing perspective, we see that adversity is an opportunity to discover inner strength. It compels us to cultivate determination, to practice letting go, and to open the possibility of living a new life, deeper and freer. Buddhism calls this the small death of the ego, so that awakening may arise. Each time we pass through a crisis, we are no longer the same person, we become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Thus, instead of fearing crisis, let us welcome it as a strict but wise teacher, guiding us towards spiritual rebirth and a truly serene life. In life, humans may lose many things: wealth, fame, relationships, even health. But there is one strength that, if cultivated properly, will never be lost, that is inner power. Inner power does not come from outside and cannot be taken away. It is formed from steadiness of mind, from mastery over emotions, and from unshakable trust in oneself. A person with strong inner power is like a mountain standing firm in a storm. Though the wind may topple countless trees, the mountain remains proud and unmoving. In Buddhist philosophy, inner power is the dwelling in mindfulness and wisdom. When the mind is no longer swept away by praise or blame, gain or loss, success or failure, we find peace within, a strength unshakable by anything. That very strength helps people rise after failure and keep walking even on rough roads. It is not cold hardness, but the softness of water, seemingly weak, yet able to carve through the hardest rock. A person with inner power does not need to prove themselves through words or displays of action, but lets calmness and natural strength radiate. They are not provoked by insults, nor shaken by doubt, because they know that every event is only a temporary test. Inner power gives them inner freedom, and with it, the certainty that they can face anything life may bring. And it is this inner power, not outer achievements, that is the ultimate strength helping humans overcome all storms. When we cultivate it, we become invincible, not because we control life, but because we master ourselves. True maturity does not come from age, degrees, or outward success, but from how we face ourselves and life. Many people think maturity means earning a lot of money, holding high social positions, or building vast networks. But all of that is just outer shell. True maturity is when we can remain calm in praise and blame, stand firm in storms, and keep a clear mind without being swept away by desires, anger, or fear. In Buddhism, maturity is the journey of returning within, clearly recognizing the nature of impermanence and suffering. When we understand that life is always changing, that happiness and suffering are temporary, we learn to let go of attachment and appreciate each present moment. That mindfulness nourishes wisdom and serenity. A mature person does not seek recognition from outside, but affirms themselves through calmness and kindness. Maturity also means having enough compassion to forgive the mistakes of others, enough patience not to be hasty, and enough courage to face the fears within. It is a state of balance between strength and gentleness, between reason and emotion, between living for oneself and knowing how to share with others. True maturity is not a destination, but a long journey. It is not measured by material success, but by the ability to master oneself and live authentically. At that level, one is truly free, free from external pressures, from masks to wear, and from the constant insecurity within. That is the greatest strength, maturity that makes us strong enough to live, yet serene enough to love and let go. The journey of seeking inner strength and true maturity is not easy, but it is the only path to a meaningful life. From cultivating willpower, mastering emotions, overcoming adversity, to learning to let go, nurturing mindfulness, and living true to oneself, all lead to one common point: inner freedom. When the mind is steady, life can no longer shake us. We can walk with ease, strong before the storms, and serene in every moment.
Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to watch more interesting videos.